So this one right here is the curvature tool, and it basically just does exactly what it says. It makes curves. Now, um, you can also use it to affect things. Like I think I was showing you guys a couple days ago or something. Like I was doing a door, and I can go to my curvature tool, grab this, and it'll pull a curve, right? Which is actually really handy. Let's turn on our, so, and then the other thing is like some people, I just saw somebody doing this. Let me see if I can do this. I saw somebody doing it where they were using it to sort of fix type. Because it'll come in here and start to clean up your curves. So you can kind of go in. He was doing some real funky type, some guy. And it just cleans up the curves in a nice way. Does that make sense? Yeah. You can
Yeah.
follow it like sometimes. Let's see this. Sometimes if you're doing something you're tracing, you can use this and it'll fall right into that curve. It's just a kind of a simple curve. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So all you gotta do is set it, and then you set it here, and then when you go over here, it just creates a curve. I just recently started using it. Before I was always like, this thing's useless. This is a bad way of thinking, by the way. I think stupid. Then I go, well, what do people do with this? Then I go on and I go, it's not stupid. It's actually a really useful tool. I just kind of used it and go, I don't get what this does. And then you go, that's what it does. What that guy's doing with it. That's cool. You know what I mean? And now I'm kind of using it a little bit. And you could use anything for this. This is a scan or whatever of a little brush stroke. Okay. So this is really simple. So here's my brushes thing right here. And I'm going to go image trace, which is up here in my thing right now. And I didn't adjust that. It just went to the last one I did. I'm just going to leave it for now. I would adjust it more. Okay, so for now, what we're going to work on is art brush. I'm going to hit OK. I want to get this. Okay. This right here, okay, we don't want fix, we want pressure. I'll put it that way. Both of these, I forget how it works, but they both, I think, affect the end of the stroke, if I remember right. We'll try it this way. Scale, stretch to fit stroke length. I want that. Method. I think I use it put on tints and shades, I think. And let's just say, okay. Go back to our brushes. There it is. Okay. And it'll have some pressure sensitivity to it. Now okay, I screwed up right here, so watch. There's where I screwed up. I'll show you. So let's go here. Let's go here. Let's delete it. Let's go back to our ink swatch. Go back to, now I'm going to go to Window, Image Tray, so I can actually dial it in better. Got to drop your advanced panel. More color. Let me see the threshold here. Oh, preview. I don't like that. Let me go here. That's better. We'll just say that's fine. Tracing result. But I had to put that ignore color, and then I want to go. Okay, now we have an actual vector object. The main thing was I didn't put the ignore white, ignore color thing. Let's put it back in here. Go to art brush. Okay. Let's call it blah. We'll play with this again. Scale proportionally. Scale to fit.
Wait, so the two sliders for the two sliders, is that for
It's
tapering?
tweaking the line. It's just tweaking the line. You'll have to play with it and it'll start to make a little more sense.
Okay.
And then I think I usually put on tints and shades. And there it is. And now it shouldn't. Yeah, it doesn't have that white behind it anymore. Let's try some. Let's go. I don't want it on rotation. Let's go on pressure. Let's try it again. I lean on it. It's getting fatter, a little fatter and a little. Let's try this now.
What does rotation mean?
I think rotation might be where it follows your hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can use kind of anything. Let's go. Go small is too big. Yeah, see that? Do you see the pressure sensitivity to it?
Yeah.
It's a pretty nice thing, actually. Let's see if we can swap. Okay, so there's one setting there, and I'm getting it wrong. I thought it was tints and shades where you can change the color. Yeah?
What do
Yes?
you mean? What do you mean by
Well,
that?
right now I just changed the color and it's not changing. It's staying in black.
Oh, okay.
There is one in here that I forget which one it is because I don't make brushes in here all that much. Let's go. Right now it's on tints and shades. Let's try. I don't think it's hue shift, but let's try. Yeah. It's back to black. So There it is. So hue shift, let it go back to actually being able to switch the color. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Simple, right? I like it better when it's a real small. Okay, simple, correct? I just changed something too, by the way. But anyway, it's fine. Let me see something. I'm just curious. Yeah, okay, that's fine. This is one of those ones you got to kind of get in here and fart around with, and it'll make more sense. Oh, let's go like this, just for the hell of it. Oh, that's great. Yeah, this one's like less. Now it's really fat.
No, okay.
And it's really, man, it's still got some. Actually, it's got a lot, actually. When I bear down on it, it goes pretty thin over here. You see that?
Yeah.
But again, you got to have a pressure sensitive tablet for that. Okay, pin. That's not going to work with a mouse. Yes.
Yes.
Now you can use them. You can come here with a mouse. I'm on a mouse, but it's not going to give me any. And also, by the way, you can go. And apply that brush to a stroke, right? Which you can do basically with all your brushes. There it is. Make sense?
Yeah.
So basically, you just have to make a vector object and then just drag it into your brush palette, name it, and tweak the settings. That's about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Curvature tool. Okay, this one I started talking about. We had some problems. I just want to make sure we're clear on this. This is your blob tool. Okay, so I couldn't really do this last time. So let's go to a paintbrush. And let's say that I have this. And let's say that this was a shape that I want to paint in. When I go here to my paintbrush, I'm just going to get this mess because that's a line. Okay, we look at it here, it's that. Okay, now I can go much smaller, but it's still it's just not what it's made for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if I want to do that, then I go here, same place, blob tool. And what that does, it just paints like a paintbrush. So if I go Y, see, that's just a shape now. Make sense?
Yeah.
And if you notice, if I come in here, it attaches to the next shape. They become one shape. Right?
Right.
That's pretty simple. But it's important. Also, let's see if I can get this to do this. I'm going to take this. Okay, let's see. Let's do this. I'm going to go back to my blob tool. I'd have an, yeah. So if you look down here, there's these three little buttons down here. If you look at this one, it's showing part of a line cut off by that circle. So what that does is exactly that. If I start to do something inside that shape, it sort of masks it. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
Well, here's another one. I'm not going to give you an assignment on this. I usually do, but I kind of don't really think I need to. I just think you need to know how it works. And I'm going to go. God damn it. Where's, oh, there it is. Yeah, okay. It's weird. What am I? Oh, wow, this is weird. Hang on. Oh, wait, I bet you. Here. This tool, so let's just do this. This is called a gradient mesh tool. So I'm going to make a quick, probably horrible. And I would do this the way I'm doing it. I would do it as two separate elements. Let's see if my curvature tool will work on this. That's weird. It didn't. Okay, so let's just go here. This is crazy wonky down here, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so let's say we have this. Let's pretend that this is a good selection. Object unlock. Oh, I see. And I'm going to go here. And I'm just going to grab a, I always grab a mid value. Maybe there, a little dark, that's okay. Okay, and then I'm going to go right here to the, right here. And it lives with your gradient tool, and then there's mesh tool. You know, I'm going to click here, and you can see what it starts to do is it kind of knows that's vertical. Sometimes it'll get funky, but for the most time it's fine, or most part it's fine. Then it'll start to go sideways if you're going horizontally. I don't know why it added that color in there. I have no idea. Then it goes back to vertical again. Can always add more in if you want. And I'm going to go, let's see if I can do this. I think I can. Yeah. Now, I can come in here and I can pick points in here. You can see I can start to add really subtle color in there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I've only used this tool once. That doesn't mean anything, by the way. Some other people you can probably talk to say I use it every day. Who knows? But it came in handy. I used it once because for Godiva. Godiva had a line in their packaging that the illustrations were done with this tool. Okay. And We were doing it's a long story. When you're doing product with people like that, sometimes you license a product they don't actually make. They have to approve it, and then they'll say, okay, you can put our name on. Just by the way, a stupid thing to do. But because the product we made that we were sourcing wasn't that good. But anyway, so I had to do an illustration of that product that didn't exist in the product line that looked like it lived in their whole product line that had already been illustrated for their branding. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it came in really handy. Now, here's another little thing with it. If I go to my white arrow tool, that's the only way I can select these individual points. But sometimes I might want to drag over multiple points. It won't do that. It'll just pull the mesh. Okay, because the mesh, I can grab these and I can move these. So I can shape this, which would be more like if I wanted to go, let's say, let's go here, 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 I don't know, here, maybe here, and go, that's too light, but that's fine. To get this little thing right there, to start making that hole there, I might start adjusting these. It's on snap to grid right now. I'd turn that on. That's why it's dropping down so far. You know, and then this one would kind of come up over here. I'd probably put another point there. And then over here, I'd have to probably add, let's see if I can do it. Let's go back to our mesh tool. Yeah. So now I added that. And now here's another little trick. If I go Control Y to our preview, I can drag over multiple points, but I can only do it in preview. And then I'm going to go a little, yeah, there we go. And you can see I can start to build this little divot in here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Why do you look confused? Follow.
Uh, I don't quite get how you were able to get that reflection at the top and then that lighter color in the middle.
I'm just picking points.
Oh, so you pick points.
That's it. So with my white arrow
Oh,
tool, because if I go like anything else, if I go to my black arrow tool and I go, oh, I want to pick points, this is going to pick the whole thing.
yeah.
If I go here, I can pick an individual point, like here, and I can move these. See that?
Oh, okay.
It's actually a pretty
Yeah.
interesting tool, actually. If you get good at it, it could be really interesting. And see how I'm starting to create that?
Yeah.
Now, with the other thing, now see, I'd have to soften that up. It's a little too hard edged. But again, if I go Control or Command Y, I can come in here with my white arrow tool and I can select a lot of points, which I can't do if I'm in standard mode. So all those I just picked could be that. The trick here is that the transitions have to work really nice, right? So you really got to think about how like that's way too bright. I'd have to have it, you know, level off on either end or whatever. If it was catching that much light like it is here, it doesn't just go boom to this dark, right? It's got to have that transition. So you got to adjust all that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now that, again, let me see if I already have this open. And of course I don't. So let's go there. I don't get why, by the way, Windows won't open multiple. Anyway, this is that. Does that make sense?
Whoa.
Okay, and you can go find really crazy examples of it online. Now they're going in and they're tricking it all out and all that. But here's one. And then here's the mesh.
Whoa.
Make sense?
Yeah. So you can have different gradient meshes like overlap?
Yeah, and I think yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah. They're making a shape and then maybe putting it over that and letting that fade out. And they're doing probably a lot of tricky stuff. Again, I don't really know what the point of it is. I mean, if you like doing it, it's fine, right? I don't get it. Like, why not just use a photograph? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there probably is some, and there's also always an interest in this hyper real stuff. I don't know why. There always has been, but it's kind of interesting. I usually have you guys do the Apple exercise, but I just don't think it's that necessary. As long as but you got to get in and play with it. If you want to learn this thing, you got to get in, and I would start with an Apple like that, just something simple, and try and match it. That's usually what we do, okay? And then you just try and match it, and then go from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, having said what I just said about why would you do that, it feels totally obsessive to me. And I like obsessive. So I understand if you're like, I just like doing this. I like manipulating all these points. And I get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's all drawing and painting is really. It's just an obsession with whatever it is. But that's the mesh tool. Okay, gradient mesh tool. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, hang on. Let me check my notes. Okay, let's do this one's pretty easy. I'm just trying to get through a handful of tools today. Okay, but anyway, that's how that works. Get rid of this damn thing. Get rid of this. By the way, I was just sampling the color off of the actual apple, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at this real quick. There's a tool right here. This is a blend tool, not a gradient mesh tool. And it just works in kind of weird ways that are kind of interesting. Like if I take this, let's do it like that. And there's just a bunch of ways you can do this. So I'm going to go. Let's just try that. These need to be a little different. I can go to this mesh tool and I can literally just go click these things and it'll start blending them together. You see that?
Yeah.
Now, you can also go and take this and go object, blend, blend options. I've got it on smooth. You can have specified steps, or you can literally tell it how many steps you want to have, and distance. Okay, but I just have it on smooth. And I'm going to sit orientate. I never understand the orientation thing. There, and then I'm going to go select them all. Go to object because I just set it up, and I'm going to go to blend, and then I'm just going to go make, and it'll do the same thing. All right. So sometimes it's kind of interesting. Let's see if we can do it. Let's start with that. Let's go. That's true. I don't know what the hell this is going to do, but let's see. I missed a couple there. But if you sort of spin things around and do some interesting things with it, it'll do some cool stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now let's see another thing we can do. Let's go. It's going to be the worst letter form ever. Worst letter form ever. There it is. And let's try it like this. Oops. Okay. Let's just try it with a round thing. I'm going to go here, object, um, oops, object, blend. Let's try it. Let's go. I don't think it really matters. So it's good to what the hell? I don't want to try changing that. I don't know what that does, actually. Good enough for now. Now, I'm going to make a copy of this. Oops. Bring it down here. And I'm going to select both of these. I selected that and that. And go object, blend, replace spine. You see what it did?
Yeah.
It just apply. And what's weird about it is that it eats up the one. So that one goes away. That's why I made a copy. Right? So if I want to do this, my whole name or whatever, I made a couple of them. But it's a nice little trick. Yeah?
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah. So all you do is just select both and go replace spine. That's it. Okay. But just know it's going to eat up the one you used. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a fun one to play with, actually. You can get those to not have the bumps again. Okay. This is just simple. Okay, so two things here. If I take a shape, there's these tools. Actually, there's these tools right here under Effect, Transform, and they just have a bunch of these pucker and bloat. So it'll either go pull it in or start to push that out. Does that make sense?
Was it window or oh no, effect?
To filter right here.
Effect. Oh, okay.
Transform. They're all under here. Distort and transform, pucker and bloat is that one. Okay. But this comes in handy a lot for things like I'm going to go object, expand appearance. I got that. Now it's a regular object again. And I'm going to go, let's see if I can do it this way. I'm going to go rotate. It's right in the center. I'm going to hit this. Yeah. For some reason, a lot of times I won't let you punch. There. Like I use this a lot, and I see it used a lot. Um, that's a bad shape. That's actually not terrible. People will do they'll do stuff like this, and they'll go make a swatch pattern out of it or something and make a little design to go on like glassware or something. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, you can whip out patterns with this thing like crazy, and then take this kind of thing and maybe go. I mean, obviously, I'd vary it more. Oops, I keep doing that. I can never get used to the controls in Windows. See what I mean? I can get rid of that. I could take this and then we could take our I don't have it quite fleshed out. And create a pattern out of it. Right?
Oh, that's cool.
I've done this a million times, by the way. There's certain things that are on your plate, especially if you're working in that kind of area. When I was working like in package design, that kind of thing, there's just a lot of things where you just need a pattern, and I can make a pattern in 5 minutes. So it's actually really handy. See, yeah, there it is. Add in a little orange, and I'd have like a 70s pattern, right?
Right.
Okay, but anyway, there's in that little space, there's all these. Yeah, there's all these different things in there. So you go distort and transform, roughen. You want it smooth or cornered? This is smooth. Size. I mean, even that's kind of cool. It's very abstracty. I can go effect, distort and transform, transform. I'm not sure what this means. It's just transforming the shape. Probably good if you want to do something really precise. I never use that. Tweak. Again, and they help me make some nice simple things. Absolute. That's absolute. Relative, so on and so forth. Let's go effect, distort and transform, twist. This one has this degree. Or I could go 300, whatever. We'll start to get that. Make sense?
Yeah.
These are mostly slider driven. Zigzag. There it is. That's absolute. Here's relative. And I might go, I really like that, and then come in here and go, put a clippy mask over it. That's weird. That's weird. Hang on. Very good. If I want to some section of that thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at this. This is new. Let's do this first. This is weird because I already changed this and it changed it back, which irritates me. So let's go. I don't have any good typefaces on here. This was done on a Mac where I did have a good typeface, but I'm just going to use this. Doesn't matter. This is a tool called the mockup tool, which lives, I think, up here. Mockup beta. Okay. I also have it right. I put it right here. There's the window for it. Okay. So I'm going to grab both of these and I'm going to go mockup. I would normally pull it down from the object, mockup. And if you watch, it will adjust it to wherever I put it. You see that? Where'd you guys go?
Yeah, we see it.
Come on, that's pretty fantastic. Don't you think?
Yeah, it's really cool.
I mean, that is really handy. Graphic designers, man, they're gonna be all over that. And then I could go. I want to go in. I could go to transparency, put on multiply. And it'll start picking up some of that stuff underneath. Make sense? Yes?
Yes.
So all you got to do is just go in, look. All you got to do is just go in. Let's go. I'm going to use a vector image this time. So let's go. I'm going to use my douche approved logo. Yeah. Oh, by the way, look at it gives you other options here that it just makes up itself. And you can tell it kind of what the area you want to do, if it's apparel or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now it did it on here. That is a crazy time saver. That make sense?
Yeah.
I love that tool. I love it. Okay. But here, it'll give you other options. Like it says branding, graphics, apparel, digital devices, packaging. It'll just give you, um, and by the way, if I put that on a box and it goes around the corner, it'll bend around the corner if you want to have that graphic on the corner. It's really nice. Yeah? Where'd everybody go? Where'd everybody go? You guys there?
Yes. Yeah, we're here.
Okay. Let's take this same thing, just something I have that's vector, obviously. And let's do this. There it is. So you're going to get this little bar here. And I'm going to hit recolor. And I'm going to go to, let's forget where this is, right here, generative recolor. And I'm going to go right here into the prompt, and I'm going to say mid-century on spring. And I want to hit generate. It's thinking. It hasn't been this slow, actually. It's actually been a lot faster than this. I don't know why it's going so slow today. Probably because we're in cloud. Okay, there we go. So now it's giving me different options that I can hit this one and go, oh, maybe I like that. I actually do kind of like that. Or this, or this, or this. Kind of like that. But it's based on a prompt. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it makes sense.
Again, crazy handy. If you were doing some sort of, this type of graphics or whatever kind of graphics, you could just sit there and spit out all these iterations of it, and even if all of them, you're like, they're not quite right, it'll give you some ideas. But it's pretty good. Does that make sense? Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So let's go back to square one. No, let's do this. Let's get rid of this for a minute. Let's go here. I'm just going to put a blank box here. And now it has generate here. So I'm going to go generate. People camping in the forest, generate. Narrative. So that's just generated from a prompt. Yes?
Yeah.
Let's go. Now, detail and vector, I can make it more. Let's make it more complex, see what happens. And I have it on scene, okay? I have no idea what more complex means. I make get more shapes, maybe. Oh, that's better. So that's more complex with more shapes. Or, whatever it's doing. Smoother shape. Looks like this looks smoother back here. Yeah? And then
Yeah,
it's
that
giving
sounds
you
good.
variations over here, by the way. There's a variation.
What happens if you change the scene portion of it, like the option?
Here?
No, on the generated fill thing, that's the little strip that's on like the photo.
Oh, down here?
Yeah.
If I do what?
If you change, you know how there was like the option for the scene, if you were to change it, well, like what other
It'll just
options
give
are
you
there?
what it'll give you probably whatever that category is. Icon. Can I do that? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Icon actually might be helpful. There. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. The problem with it, let's try pattern. The problem with it is that it's not, I mean, I've seen a lot of vector graphics this crappy before this. So for people, this right now to me, I'm sure that you can dial this in a lot more, but right now it feels like a tool that low-level graphic designers would use who just aren't that good. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Or here's the other time I might, because I probably would never use this for that kind of thing. If I was working with a marketing person who I couldn't stand, and I was like, here's your crappy stuff. You know what I mean? Which you should never do, by the way. But sometimes you just kind of throw your hands up and go, I just don't care about this thing anymore. At least I. Oh, there's a pen, which I'm assuming ends up over here. I would assume. There it is. So let's see. There's the pattern. That's not bad, actually. I mean, it's okay. I bet you could dial that in and get it pretty good. Yeah? Or like
Yeah.
some kids' sheets or something, would have that kind of a theme. One other thing, then I'll let you out of here. Okay, so let's take this. Ellipse tool. Oops, I don't want that. I don't think it matters what color this is. I don't think. There's a couple other things you can do with this, but I'll try and go over those later. So this has to be on top, whatever this object is. Select both. Object. Envelope distort. Make with top object. And there it is. Yes?
Yes.
So let's look at this. Now let's use this tool that we talked about before. Oops, no, oops. Here, no. The hell is it? Yeah, let's do it this way. Oops. Don't know why I use this word, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so make sure this is on top, arrange, or object, arrange, bring to front, grab both, and object, envelope distort, make with top object bone. Again, that's a pretty handy tool. Let's try this. Let's try it. Hopefully it's straight. So this is on top, object, range, bring to front, object, envelope distort, make with top object. Then I could do this. Now, here's the thing, watch. If I go, doesn't change the color. So I'm going to go up here and go, same thing we did with some of our other tools, okay? When you want to get rid of the filter that's on there, I'm going to go object. We did it with the image trace. I'm going to go object, expand. That's fine. Okay. Then I can go change it. And I could go oops. Let's see if it'll let me do that. Okay, so here's probably what's happening. This might need to be made into a compound path. Yep. And it'll lock on there right there. And then let's go here. Object. Yeah, there it is. So we do something like that. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a good one to play with. That's another one really good for graphic design, really good for logos, all that kind of stuff. There's some other stuff we can do in there too, but we'll get to that later, or hopefully later.